Joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show from the home of the NFL Network, Reggie Bush. How are you, Reggie?
I'm doing good, man. How you guys doing?
I'm doing fine. What was it? What's your first memory of meeting Drew Brees, Reggie?
My first memory of meeting Drew was actually, I didn't meet him. It was a phone call. And it was the night before the draft, sitting in my hotel room. We just found out that Mario Williams was going to be the first pick taken overall. We had been told by Casserly and by the rest of the Houston Texans that I was the sure-in pick. So when we found out that Houston would be taking Mario Williams the night before, my agents and I knew that the Saints had the second pick and the Jets had the third pick. We wanted to go to New York. So we even had a conversation with Coach Sean Payton where my agent said to trade the pick. We were talking about trading the pick. And also because there was a lot of uncertainty after Katrina. The team obviously hadn't been that good in a long time. So I get a call from Coach Payton, and he basically tells Orny, who you know,
Yes.
who tells Orny to basically go screw yourself. We're taking Reggie no matter what you guys want, what you guys say. And then Drew called me, and he says he had a chance to play with LaDainian Tomlinson, who he considered to be one of the best running backs he's ever played with. And he said that he was very excited to get a chance to play with me and was looking forward to it, and he thought that I had a chance to be as good or better. And that moment right there completely changed my mindset about going to New Orleans and just put me in a place of just put me at ease, all the emotions, everything that was going on through my head, and really changed my whole perspective about just, going to play in New Orleans. And that was one of my first fondest memories of Drew Brees. That's the kind of person that he is.
Well, I think things worked out for you, Reggie.
I think they worked out okay.
You led the team in receptions your rookie year, and I had never known that you were trying to orchestrate a way out of New Orleans, and Sean Payton telling his good buddy Mike Ornstein, go screw yourself, we're taking your guy. And then Drew Brees calls you up, puts your mind at ease. What was it like, though, getting there in New Orleans, as you point out? I mean, this is post-Katrina. City's trying to put everything back together. Brees coming back from a shoulder injury, Peyton getting his first shot at being an HC in the NFL. Reggie, what was that like?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because when I look back on it now, everything happened for a reason. That team was put together by a higher power. Obviously the coaches and the teams made the draft picks, but I think that happened at such a crucial time and moment for the city of New Orleans after everything that had been through. And I just believe that it was destiny. It was fate that we all came there together. When you look at, like you just mentioned, Drew, nobody wanted him after his shoulder injury. Everybody thought his career was done, thought he was finished. And it happened on a play where he was, I believe, was chasing down an interception, right? If my memory serves me correct. Or something like that, something in a moment where, he was giving his all, and, the injury happens. And then you fast forward to when he decides to go to New Orleans, right? And that is what changed everything. Then I come, and then so on and so forth. That draft class was me, Marcus Colston, Roman Harper. I'm forgetting some other names, but our draft class we all ended up playing, for a long time. And so kudos to the coaches of doing a great job. It's just, seeing the right talent to put together, the right people. And then we built that chemistry over the course of those 5 years and ended up winning the Super Bowl there. But I truly believe that team was meant to be. The city needed a team like that, needed us, and we needed them.
Reggie Bush here on the Rich Eisen Show. So what makes Brees so great, Reggie? Give me a good example of his greatness.
Well, we see, how he is on the football field, everything, he's been able to accomplish over his career is a perfect example of just the type of person he is. It's not just he shows up on game days and goes out and puts up these huge numbers, but he's just a great person on and off the football field. He's a great leader. He's a great family man. He believes in God and puts God first, and he's just the ultimate. He's the ultimate professional athlete on and off the football field. And a perfect example of that is my rookie year. And this was always what I would always try to do. Whatever team I was playing for, I would always try to find the hardest worker on the team, and I would try to outwork him. And so when I got to New Orleans, I knew that Drew Brees was that guy. I knew he was the hardest worker in the room, first person on the field, last one off. And so I purposely made it my goal to try to outwork Drew Brees. And I would try to show up early in the morning before any of the coaches were there, before anybody would be there, to start watching film and just getting ready for the day for a week of practice. And Drew would already be in there, in the film room. And I'd be walking in, and his car's already parked out there, and he's already in the film room. And it's nighttime outside. Coaches aren't even there yet. And then as I'm leaving, trying to be one of the last guys, off the field, out of the locker room, Drew's in there watching film, or he's on the field, throwing more routes, 20, 30 minutes after practice is over. And so that hard work and preparation, is to me, is one of the reasons why he's such a great person. It's his character.
Reggie Bush here on the Rich Eisen Show. And then the Saints, I mean, is it a fair way? I asked him this the other day, and I knew Brees wasn't going to give me a straight answer. I asked it anyway.
Yeah.
And so you can say, I'll ask you, are his current weapons better maybe than the ones that he had at his disposal when you first he first got there?
Wow. That's such a great question, man, because Michael Thomas is the new Marcus Colston, right? Ingram and Kamara are what me and Pierre Thomas were, at that time. And I love watching these guys play the game. I love what they're able to do on the football field week in and week out. I mean, they're so consistent. They're tough to deal with, and, they're finding different ways to preserve Drew. As far as weapons, are they better? That's tough, man. It's really tough. It's really tough because they have so much of their DNA. What they have now is very, very similar to what we had. And even on the defense side of the ball as well. The last night's game reminded me of our 2009 football team. Everything about it, the way they were getting pressure on the quarterback, getting turnovers. The run game was there. The receivers were, flying past people down the football field. Drew's throwing seam routes all over the place. It really reminded me of our 2009 and really those 5 years I was there of how we played.
I know you got only about 90 seconds, so you got to walk into your NFL Total Access meeting, and I don't want you to be late. So I will ask you this, Reggie, knowing Sean Payton as well as you do, and knowing the way that he calls offenses, I, as an Alvin Kamara fantasy player, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm panicking. I'm in a full-on panic. What can you tell me? Is this an appropriate feeling right now about Kamara's fantasy value?
Nervous about what?
That he got 9 touches. What Ingram comes back and Kamara, the Kamara I've come to know and adore and count on for the last 4 weeks in fantasy is gone, Reggie. Help me out here.
Well, you have to know this about Sean Payton is that he loves running back by committee. He's not going to put all his eggs in one basket with one running back because, running backs get banged up. And he knows that in order for him to win a Super Bowl or get to the next level, he has to keep everybody healthy and fresh. So with that, Ingram coming back, Kamara's touches are going to go down a little bit. But also last night was just everything was working for him, right? It's not always going to be like that. Not every game where they're going to be having guys wide open, running down a football field. They're going to have to rely on the run game a lot. So I wouldn't panic.
Okay.
I would definitely pump the brakes.
Okay.
and be patient because one of the things that I do know about Sean is that he's trying to find different ways to preserve Drew. One of those ways is running the football and getting the ball to his running backs in space, which they've been doing. So I would definitely come to break on that one.
All right, Reggie. Thanks, man. Say hi to everybody. Have a good meeting. We'll see you on Total Access tonight at 7.
Okay. Thank you.
You got it. It's Reggie Bush.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.